see if we can hit it.
You Make It, We Mock It is where we test the coolest, wildest, deadliest 12-gauge ammunition ever imagined. These are all prototypes, and you get to see it tested for the very first time. Now, it's easy to think that these are made by some weapons company, but no, they were made by our very own viewers. Hello, this is Jeff of TAOFLEDERMAUS, and on stage tonight we have a design by Brian from Northern California. And he calls this the Whistle Pig. Now this is a monstrous 677 grain slug with a length of 1.5 inches. And it has the aerodynamics of a Red Bull can. The Whistle Pig is made of 2 crossover cable clamps joined end to end with a set screw. And he used green Loctite to secure it. Now Brian theorizes that this has a very good chance of whistling as it travels downrange. Now here is a cutaway of the shell utilizing an FS12 gas seal. And you'll notice that there's a little strip of tape at the bottom of the slug. Because the slug is so heavy, I wanted the tightest possible bore fit. And this, of course, will reduce the chance of any slippage in the sabot. Yes, these are going to be loaded as a sabot round. The sabot is the jacket surrounding the slug. It's not the slug itself. This keeps the slug centered in the barrel. It transfers the spin from the rifling to the slug, and it also protects the barrel from direct metal-to-metal contact. And yes, we will be using a rifled shotgun. I still get comments from people who think that those don't exist. But to be fair, rifled shotgun barrels really don't exist in many countries because of their local laws. Now, since Brian believes these slugs are going to whistle, it's going to be important to keep them at a subsonic velocity. If they were shot at a supersonic speed, they would have a shock wave at the nose that would interfere with the airflow traveling over the slug. We'll be using a very precise powder load to keep them under 1,125 feet per second. And that's what the speed of sound is at sea level, but we're only at about 300 feet, so that's close enough. Well, it's time to head out to the test range and see how the Whistle Pig performs. We're using a really unusual test procedure today with the remote shooting rest sitting right on the ground. Now this is so the slug will be flying very close to the ground, starting off at around 6 inches. Now this is so we can visually tell if the slug is flying subsonic or not. A supersonic slug will drag a very large shock wave across the ground. Our first target is the 30-pound lead plate. This is set at 20 yards away, or 18.2 meters. Brian specifically asked us to shoot the lead plate with these. Just doing a last-minute check of the aim.
Number 1, 20 yards away.
The slug is traveling at about 0.9 Mach, well under the speed of sound. And of course, there's no shockwave traveling across the ground. The Whistle Pig was spinning at just over 20,000 RPM, but I did not hear any whistling. Now, we'll be shooting at much further distances, and we'll also put the microphone way down range so that we can possibly hear it whistle.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Now, I was aiming about right here. This was shot just a little bit high. As far as the windage is pretty good. And then we found the pieces. You notice I have a little bit of tape on there. I wanted to bulk it up a little bit, bring it up over 0.680 inches. So these things are heavy, and if I didn't do that, there's a chance it would have slipped in the sabot because the fit wasn't tight enough. But so far it's working out really good. Okay, we pulled it back to 28 yards away. Aiming at the green TAOFLEDERMAUS sticker in the center, of course. Los!
Now in this shot, we're shooting at a 3/16 inch mild steel plate. That's about 5 millimeters. We see a nice bright flash on impact and a very, very clean hole even traveling at that speed, the slug punched out an absolutely perfect hole in that steel plate. Now again, it shot a little bit high, which kind of surprised me because these are subsonic and a very, very heavy projectile. So we'll just start making some adjustments to compensate for that. The next target is a concrete block. Sometimes people call these a cinder block. And we're now at 41 yards. Heck no, I was not going to walk down there just to move it 1 yard.
Maybe an inch low from the center and maybe a half an inch to the left by guesstimation. So anyway, let's see how this one does. Let's see if we can hit it. Not bad. Looks like it went a little to the left, so I should have just kept it point of aim right on the center. Let's see if we can hit it.
Now the elevation was a lot better in this shot. It did shoot a little bit to the left because I was aiming a little bit to the left. I should have just aimed point blank at it. Now I'm pretty happy with the velocity I was able to get, keeping it under the speed of sound. And that was based off some load data for turkey loads of about the same weight. I loaded all the shells with 25 grains of steel powder, in case you were wondering about that. I often use steel powder for loads heavier than 1 1/4 ounces. Okay, the target is now at 50 yards. You'll notice that I moved the camera downrange to try to pick up any possible whistling sounds.
Okay, here we go. Looks like it traveled about 100 yards before it hit the dirt. Go.
Well, at best we heard maybe a hissing sound from the slug. Not much of a whistle, though. Now let's see if our downrange camera picked up anything interesting. Now, this camera's been giving me fits. It randomly just goes out of focus for no reason.
Okay, here we go.
Now on this 50-yard shot, I was expecting to start seeing a little bit of a drop. These things are slow and they're heavy, but it still shot a little bit high. I was aiming right at that orange sticker. Certainly not a terrible shot. I'm always happy just hitting the target. The slug passed through the foam dummy and hit the dirt at about 110 yards.
Okay, we're now at 63 yards, same target. I'm aiming about 2 inches below the orange sticker, windage, just no adjustment for windage or anything. Okay, here we go.
At 63 yards, still no sign of it dropping. The slug is about as streamlined as a brick, and yet it is still flying high. It hit about where the collarbone is, and I believe that dummy would have stopped paying taxes at that point. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the accuracy of these slugs. They're not perfect, but for something homemade like that, that's pretty good.
Coming out 73 yards. I know, I'm just moving it back, guesstimating it. Okay, the bottom button. Come on there. I think we hit it. I heard a little slap.
And look at that, our secondary camera decided to start focusing again. And of course, with my kind of luck, the high-speed camera focus, not perfect. Now I was aiming way down there by the bottom button. Elevation was a lot better on this shot, but it did shoot a little bit to the right. And then of course we see that giant splash in the sand from that huge slug.
"85 yards. We'd usually never go this far. That's crazy. Okay, here we go. It took a while to get down there.
Now listen carefully. This time we hear a whistle.
Okay, here we go. It took a while.
Now, of course, I did not hear that whistle at all when I was shooting, so it was pretty exciting when I got home and started reviewing the footage, hearing that sound. Now, this was actually a pretty decent shot. Elevation was good, It shot a little bit to the left, and I can now officially say that we shot the dummy in both nipples. Pretty good, huh? I meant to do that.
Okay, 97 yards. I thought it was 100 yards, but I'm just a little bit short. We can call it 100 yards if you want. Are you ready? Yes. Oh, well, I think we missed.
Well, every once in a while I have to remind people that I am human. This one seemed to malfunction. It kind of curved to the right. Very weird trajectory there. Now on top of the neck of the dummy is a soup can. That is to keep it from blowing over in the wind. But 97 yards, aiming really low. Oh, beautiful. We got it. We got it. It's something really splatted on that thing too. Now, of course, I was not aiming at the soup can. I was just hoping to hit the dummy. But sometimes I just get lucky. And that, folks, was our last slug and is absolutely the perfect ending for this test. Now, these are definitely fun to test out, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And this is what the soup can looks like. It actually hit it at the end. And that's pretty impressive damage for a subsonic soup can ballistic slug hitting a soup can. We'll see you next time.